Not that even if we tell people that, ODM tells people that you vote 6Ps, all these 6Ps people are going to come in as ODM. No, there are some people who are still going to manage the storm and come in.
Hello and welcome to AROKA Media. My name is Millicent AROKA. Thank you so much for joining us today on Impact as we get to look at what's happening in the country. I am here with security expert and political analyst Tom Duku, who will be, talking to us about the recent happenings in the country. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
It's always an honor to have you on the show.
Asante sana.
We have the EACC that raided homes of 6 Kenya Power managers, and of course the raid came after a lifestyle audit that was done in October. Now, my main issue here is we can tell that this is happening because of the corruption that has been going on. They've even talked about procurement scandals, as well. But this is not the first time that we're hearing about raids being done. And I think Kenyans really just want to stop hearing about the raids and actually see some action, behind the raids. What do you think usually happens? Why do we have so many raids and yet we don't quite have something tangible at the end of the day to see to it that, those who do wrong end up in jail?
I think one of the things is that we are losing the concept of case management. You see, arrest is just a process within the management process of a case. But then there is case management. There is also the prospect of analyzing the case itself. My view would be that we need, first of all, to have the arms meeting together. And Chief Justice must be involved in this. Because sometimes you find that the judges being independent, they would release even the person that people think that evidence was so much about overwhelming in a way that now that person gets free. And then in the prosecution side, whenever we are doing a case like investigators, we should be involved in these gray areas. Because those are the things that now wear technicality. Sometimes not that the country lose cases because they didn't do a proper case. But it's just that at the time of investigation, there was a gray area. So this gray area, that's why we had proposed that DPP be involved. As people now who are legal experts, let them be involved. But I think somewhere down the line, they have also failed to appreciate that law is not law until you involve every expert in it. Like graft case. You can't send a graft case in court without an audit report. You can't send a graft case without an accountant involved. That is the man who should be playing with the figures. He should be the one who can also look at, Millicent, in investigation, you have to be very deep. You see, you find that sometimes we charge people with an abuse of office. Instead, we should just be taking one of the principal accounts. Let's say I have done something in the public interest, like that case of Jamal, where Jamal had identified on how to collect remains, take it to a dumping pit, they collect, separate what is metal, separate what the glasses are, then they are refurbished again, it is sold out, the field is left for people to cultivate because it will be very fertile. You see, now, in that one, I would tell you, if I was the one investigating that case, I would have charged them with the principle of account of going concern. You see, in the accounts, when you start a business, there is tomorrow. That tomorrow is the going concern. So you would be charged that you made people to believe that you will give people employment, you will build industries, the sustainability will be made, and the growth will also be seen. But now sustainability, the going concern is not there. You see, when you approach a court in that kind of an angle, then you would not escape a jail term. You would be jailed. And that corruption element now will be seen in the light of professionalism. So it is about experts sitting together. You know, one thing that is a problem in this country is that when you have an office, you think now you are the owner. You need to consult. You see, like, let me tell you, I will tell you, like Keroche issue. Keroche issue now is above board. We must sit down again. KRA has to sit down with Keroche management and talk to them. Even if KRA would give them a leeway to operate, but they tell them 20% of every sale will be taken. So whether it is taking 100 years, the company will have offered employment, will continue receiving certain taxes through their trade, and locally, both locally and internationally,
without
and in money.
losing their job.
But you see, when we closed it, then we are overreacting, and we are forgetting that the people who have brought the Keroche mess were the KRA personnel. Because in there is what is called financial schedule. That financial schedule dictates this glass. If it is imported, it dictates what is supposed to be paid. That is what is called financial schedule. And in that angle, you would find that that person who built Keroche Industries, whose employee was, he was the Kenyan government employee. But now he's nowhere, it is Keroche. That one can't be. That one can't be. So as investigators, the team needs to be sitting down and consult widely.
Okay. Let's go to party politics and let's talk about Azimio. We've had different parties that have formed Azimio, right? And we still have, those calls for having a 60 in certain areas, which now wananchi are not for, because they feel, and even some leaders feel that, first of all, Azimio is different parties. And when we have, for example, the leader, Raila Odinga, go to a place and ask for 6 piece, they're wondering what this 6 piece then means. Does it mean that he wants people from ODM side only? And if that is so, then doesn't it then become a negative for those who are in the Azimio party but are also looking for seats in those same areas?
Well, you see, Millicent, before Raila became Azimio candidate, Raila had a team, which was ODM.
Yes.
And there is certain places where ODM was popular.
Yes.
And those one made him to win the presidency. It would be very inconsequential to assume that Raila should just let go areas that ODM was controlling. Or the people in ODM would just let it go because they think that Azimio now is there. But you see, what Azimio ought to have done primarily, and that's why sometimes management becomes a problem in this country. What they ought to have done, they would have said, we are coming to unite. Nyanza, Raila is coming from, it is Raila's party. Western, Raila controls Busia, he controls Kakamega. They would have known, they would have looked at the variables in the last general election to inform them on the correct data.
You're saying they should have done some zoning?
Yes, and out of a research purpose. Note that even if we tell people that, ODM tells people that you vote 6 Ps, all these 6 Ps people are going to come in as ODM. No, there are some people who are still going to manage the storm and come in. It also depends also with your luck and your God.
Okay. Let's talk about democracy as well. There are those who have always felt that Raila has fought for democracy in every way. And so they're feeling that, the fact that he did not give a chance for that same democracy within the party by, in some places, choosing who is going to be something, maybe governor or, and not letting the people go through the election process was not right. And I'll give you an example. Like what happened perhaps in Homa Bay. You find that there are those who are now rebelling. They're like, okay, you could have just let us, go to the election and then choose, even if it's the same person. But why not let us choose in such cases? What would you say?
Just to answer you on that Homa Bay issue,
yes.
There were about 6 candidates.
Yes.
5 went and agreed.
Yes.
1 became what he wants to be and is not independent candidate.
Yes.
5 against 1. Really, don't you want to say that there was consultation? You see, sometimes it's not about me.
So you feel he had a good reason for choosing?
Yes. In fact, let me tell you. Right now, we can take Honorable Raila into account after 5 years that you brought us so and so, and he has performed. Now we don't want him. As opposed to saying that Raila, you've done wrong thing, yet we have not evaluated this person.
You know, the problem that we are having, for example, like the Homa Bay one that you're saying, the same thing had been talked about concerning Awiti, and nothing happened for 10 years.
Awiti was not Raila's choice.
Oh.
Awiti was the people's choice. Awiti outsmarted everybody. For those who do not know Awiti, Millicent, Awiti conducted Arambes all over Nyuluo Nyanza.
Yes.
And he was a popular man. Even me, from where I sit, Awiti was the man of the day. You see, because he was a generous man. Only that when we gave him the leadership.
Let's talk about the manual voter registration against the electronic voter registration. On this one, UDA feels that they need to go electronic. Azimio is, on that as well, but they want some leeway to have the manual voter registration still, should other systems fail.
Millicent, do you know the problem in this country?
Yes.
It's about honesty.
Yes.
People are never honest. We have people in place. I'm telling you, electronic is the best system. But who are our dependable players to enable the process?
How come we are always failing? When we go totally electronic,
that's what I'm
something
saying.
has to fail.
That's what I'm saying. It's about honesty of a nation of character, a nation of purpose. That's why a candidate would utter a word to the extent that people are thinking that he's still drawing people back. No. It is the possibles. Now, electronic, who will manage it? How are we sure that this time is not going to fail? Why is it that IBC is not able to tell us that in this end, last year, when we conducted the last general election, these are areas that we did not have network. This is now the possible network coverage.
So that we
where we have doubt,
where we have doubt,
yes, is this end. So that small end, we know how to handle it. Then now we use the technical engineers. Tell them, in this day, on the worst scenario, what can you salvage? Is it 80%? Is it 90%? Is it 60% of the process? From that level, we are informed of what decision to take.
So for Tom Nduku, what would you go for? Manual voter registration?
Well, you see, I've told you the character why Azimio is saying manual must also be there. Because sometimes you want to check yourself in the lexicon, voting, you are not there. Yet you are a voter. If it is checked in the manual, you'll be found. So to avoid technicalities in making pleas at the Supreme Court to challenge an election process, there is need for it to be there. So that when you make such an allegation, you will be asked, why did that voter you are talking about did not check in the manual register? So it is still helping, it's solving a purpose.
Thank you so much. This has been Impact. My name is Millicent AROKA, and of course, we had with us in the show Tom Nduku, who is a security expert and also a political analyst. Thank you so much for coming, Tom.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
All the best.
Asante.
Many
Remember
thanks.
to like, comment on the video below, and of course also subscribe to the channel so you can get enlightening content all the time.